Sure, here's the translation into American English. Clara, a dedicated doctor, realized she had forgotten her keys just as she was about to leave the house. To avoid bothering her husband Lucas, she quickly returned and entered silently. She heard muffled voices in the bedroom as she walked into the living room. Curiously, she listened and heard Lucas talking to another woman. "Where's my watch?" Lucas asked. "I can't find it." Clara froze. Anna, Lucas's lover, was irritated and said, "I have no idea. Maybe you left it where you slept last night." Clara felt a chill run down her spine. She had feared Lucas was cheating on her, and the scene she witnessed confirmed it. 10 years ago, Lucas and Clara got married. When they met in college, their initial rivalry turned into love. Lucas wore the watch that Anna's father, Mr. Silva, had given him. Although the watch symbolized the bond between them, it now seemed to represent the betrayal Clara discovered. Despite Lucas being a prosperous businessman and Clara also succeeding in her career, their marital happiness seemed to have disappeared. Clara noticed that Lucas had changed his attitude in recent months. He became more isolated, spent more time away from home, and avoided discussing the couple's future plans. She tried to explain his behavior as work-related stress, but deep down, she knew something was wrong. The revelation of the affair was not only a surprise, but also a painful confirmation of her suspicions. Clara felt a mix of sadness and anger as she listened to Lucas and Anna's conversation. Although she wanted to confront him immediately, she chose to wait. She needed time to process everything and plan her next steps. Pretending she had just arrived, she went back to the front door, made some noise closing it, and re-entered the house. Lucas was surprised when he saw her in the hallway. "I forgot my keys," Clara said, trying to keep her voice steady. "Where were you?" Lucas replied evasively, trying to hide his anxiety. "I was just looking for my watch. Have you seen it around?" Clara was aware it was the same watch he had mentioned to Anna. Without looking directly at him, she responded, "I haven't seen it, but I'll help you look." Once Lucas felt more at ease, he returned to the bedroom, where Clara knew Anna must be hiding. In the living room, Clara sat and reflected on her life and marriage. How had things come to this point? She remembered their early years of dating, filled with excitement and promises of a bright future. They had supported each other and overcome many challenges. But now it seemed Lucas had disregarded all of that. Clara decided to be cautious and avoid making hasty decisions. Before confronting him, she needed concrete evidence of Lucas's affair. She decided to hire a private detective to investigate all his movements. She wanted to know every detail of Lucas's affair with Anna. It was imperative that she be prepared for the legal battle she would likely face in case of a divorce. Clara continued with her daily routine, but now with a new resolve. At work, she remained professional and did not reveal her personal worries. However, when she returned home, she felt the pain and weight of the betrayal, sharing the same space with a man who was no longer her life partner. Clara gradually began to plan how her life would be without Lucas. She thought about how she would reorganize her finances, where she would live, and how she would handle the division of their assets. Although the future was uncertain, she knew she couldn't continue living a lie. Even if it meant facing a painful separation process, it was time to take control of her life and move on. Clara's mind wandered through memories of the past as she prepared to face Lucas's betrayal. They had both been studying medicine when they met in college. Lucas was an exceptionally talented student who always excelled in math and science. Clara, on the other hand, was known for her dedication and love for medicine. They had a strong rivalry from the first meeting, which soon turned into a strong friendship and eventually into love. Lucas and Anna's story also went back to school. In the 10th grade, Anna was transferred to Lucas's school. They quickly became friends because they were in the same class. Over time, what started as a competition to see who had the best grades evolved into something broader. During a biology class, Lucas and Anna skipped the period and kissed for the first time. It was a magical experience filled with terror and anxiety, but it was interrupted by the teacher who caught them. Mr. Silva, Anna's father, was a big businessman in town. Instead of reprimanding Lucas after the incident at school, he saw potential in the young man. "I'm Rafael Silva, and I'm pleased to meet you," he said with a stern but intrigued expression. "Tell me what happened." Although embarrassed, Lucas explained the situation. Mr. Silva decided to mentor the young man because he saw that he was sincere and talented. Mr. Silva took Lucas in like a son and taught him the secrets of business. He also gave him opportunities that many couldn't imagine. Lucas, who always had great mathematical skills, found in Mr. Silva a guide that helped him become a good businessman. Under Mr. Silva's supervision, Lucas's relationship with Anna also improved. Mr. Silva saw a promising future in both of them. Clara and Lucas maintained their relationship and faced the challenges of college together. They formed an unbeatable team, helping each other through all the challenges. Eventually, they decided to get married. The wedding was a simple but important ceremony. Mr. Silva's presence was notable as the bride's father and as a father figure to Lucas. The first years of marriage were full of plans and dreams. Lucas and Clara bought a house and started building it together. Lucas was now a successful businessman, working tirelessly to grow the family's businesses. Clara, for her part, devoted herself to medicine, working long hours at the hospital and specializing in pediatrics. But over time, their relationship began to be affected by responsibilities and work pressure. Lucas was becoming increasingly absent, spending more time at the office or traveling. Feeling lonely, Clara devoted herself even more to her work. The distance between them grew, and conversations about children and the future became increasingly rare. Due to Lucas's business and family connections, Anna was always present in his life. Clara noticed changes in Lucas's behavior but tried to ignore them, thinking it was just work stress. But when she discovered the affair, her suspicions became impossible to ignore. Clara felt a mix of longing and sadness as she remembered those moments. Although her love for Lucas was genuine and deep, the betrayal had now tainted it. Mr. Silva's paternal role, which had been so important to Lucas, now seemed like a distant and sad memory. Clara was determined to move on and not let past memories define her future. Although the memories were painful, they also made her stronger. She was aware of her strength and capability and was prepared to handle the challenges. The first years of Clara and Lucas's marriage were full of excitement and intensity. In their careers, they supported each other, facing obstacles and celebrating successes. But the relationship began to fray over time. Distrust started to arise, and small arguments became common. Lucas spent more and more time working, always focused on the business. He felt obligated to prove his worth to Mr. Silva, who saw him as a successor. Business trips became more common, and Lucas spent many hours away from home. Clara devoted herself more and more to her medical career, trying to fill the gap left by Lucas's absence. Clara and Lucas got married at 18, right after graduating from high school. It was an impulsive choice, driven by love and the desire to live a life together. They moved into Clara's parents' large, welcoming home. But the constant presence of the in-laws and the lack of privacy began to create tension. The sudden death of Lucas's mother from a stroke was a tragedy for the family. Lucas was furious because he didn't know his biological father. He became even more attached to Mr. Silva, who became his father figure. After his mother's death, Lucas found comfort in Mr. Silva's strong paternal figure. Over time, Lucas and Clara began to live separate lives. He spent more time away from home, working, while Clara focused on her medical studies. Moments of intimacy disappeared, and conversations became rare and superficial. They were no longer life partners, although they were still married. Clara wanted to have children, believing that the closeness and joy of their marriage could be restored with the birth of a child. However, her ability to conceive failed. Despite several tests and treatments, Clara couldn't get pregnant. Lucas wasn't enthusiastic about becoming a father, but agreed to go through the necessary tests. Both discovered they had health issues preventing them from conceiving. The news that both suffered from a chronic condition affecting fertility hit them hard. Clara felt sad, but was determined to keep trying. Lucas, on the other hand, seemed indifferent. "If I have to, I'll do it," he said with a tone of resignation that deeply hurt Clara. Clara soon realized the marriage was ending. The emotional connection between them had vanished as they lived in separate rooms. Lucas slept in Mr. Silva's room, left vacant after Clara's parents tragically died in an accident. Clara felt increasingly lonely, and the desire to have children became an obsession for her. The distance between Lucas and Clara grew daily. Although she knew something was wrong, she avoided confronting him directly. The pain of the betrayal was unbearable, but the thought of losing everything they had built together was equally frightening. Clara was trapped in a cycle of doubts and fears and didn't know how to break free. Although their love had evidently faded, Clara still hoped for a miracle to save their marriage. However, the truth was about to confront her cruelly. Discovering Lucas's affair was the final blow to a relationship that had already crumbled. Clara knew she had to make a difficult but necessary decision. It was time to move on to an uncertain and new future. The distance between Clara and Lucas became more apparent as they advanced in their careers. Clara had completed her residency and specialized in pediatrics, becoming fully dedicated to medicine. Her work at the hospital was demanding and challenging, but also rewarding. Although she excelled as a competent and dedicated doctor, her personal life was in shambles. On the other hand, Lucas became increasingly involved in the business. He became the leader of the Silva family company and worked hard to expand it. The long work hours and frequent trips further distanced him from Clara. They hardly saw each other, and when they did, their communication was minimal. Clara felt lonely. At work, she was admired and respected but had no close friends. Her straightforwardness and dedication isolated her from colleagues. Clara's social life consisted of superficial conversations at the hospital and brief encounters with Lucas, which became increasingly rare. Clara's career progressed, but she paid a high price. The hospital's internal politics and gossip were incessant. Although Clara knew her competence worried others, it didn't comfort her. She longed for friends and a support system, but her straightforwardness and dedication to work kept people at a distance. The situation at home worsened. Lucas seemed distant whenever he was around. Clara tried multiple times to discuss the future and the idea of having children, but Lucas always changed the subject. Although she was sure he wasn't committed to the marriage, she didn't know how to keep him at peace. As time passed, Clara felt trapped in an unhappy marriage. Tension arose during conversations about having children. While Clara desperately wanted to be a mother, Lucas didn't share the same desire. Although he agreed to undergo the necessary tests and treatments, his lack of enthusiasm was evident. Clara began reflecting on her ideal life. Although her career was fulfilling, it didn't fill the void in her heart. She longed for a family and a genuine emotional connection. Clara knew something needed to change because the distance between her and Lucas was unbearable. One night, after a particularly bitter conversation about having children, Clara decided it was time to make a decision. She knew that a life of frustration and lies was unsustainable. The marriage was over, and Clara needed to find a new path. Clara began seeking support outside her marriage. She reached out to her longtime friend, Sophia, who had recently gone through a separation. Sophia offered a shoulder to cry on and crucial advice. "Clara, you deserve to be happy. You can't keep living like this," Sophia said. These words deeply affected Clara, prompting her to seek professional help. Therapy was a crucial step for Clara. She realized she needed to value herself and start seeking what truly mattered to her. With each session, the decision to separate from Lucas became clearer. Although it was painful, Clara knew it was the right path. Over the years, Clara and Lucas had grown apart. Clara was ready to embark on a new journey, one of self-discovery and renewal. She knew the road ahead would be challenging, but believed she would find the joy and peace she longed for. Clara was determined to face the truth and move on with her life. Deciding to separate from Lucas was tough, but after discovering his affair, it became inevitable. Clara knew she needed to take concrete steps to secure her future and move forward without looking back. Clara hired a private detective after deciding Lucas was unfaithful. "I need to make sure I have proof of the affair for the divorce," she said. The detective, meticulous and experienced, began tracking Lucas and recording his meetings with Anna. Evidence quickly started piling up. Meanwhile, Clara became increasingly indifferent to Lucas. He knew something had changed, but wasn't sure what. "Clara, you're different," he said one night during a silent dinner. "What's going on?" "I think we're growing apart, Lucas," Clara said, maintaining her composure. "We need to discuss our future." While Lucas tried to downplay things, Clara was resolute. She knew the next conversation would be painful but necessary. She decided to wait until she had all the evidence before directly accusing him of the affair. Meanwhile, she began preparing financially and emotionally for what lay ahead. The detective presented photos and recordings confirming Lucas's affair with Anna. The evidence was compelling. Clara knew she could secure a favorable divorce with these documents. Seeing the proof, she felt a mix of relief and sorrow. While she was prepared for the truth, it was still hard to accept. Finally, Clara decided to confront Lucas. She chose a quiet evening, knowing they would have enough time to talk without interruptions. "Lucas, we need to talk," she said, her voice surprisingly firm. Lucas noticed the seriousness in her tone and sat down, waiting. "I know about you and Anna," Clara began. Lucas paled but tried to deny it. "I don't know what you're talking about," he replied nervously. Clara remained calm, placing the evidence on the table. "I have pictures, recordings, and testimonies. Lucas, don't lie." Lucas sat in silence, staring at the evidence before him. He knew denying the truth was impossible. Finally, he said, "Clara, I'm sorry, I know I messed up, but I never wanted to hurt you." Clara felt his words were empty. She had heard too many excuses and knew there was no way to fix what was broken. She decided to wait until she had all the evidence before directly accusing him of the affair. Meanwhile, she began preparing financially and emotionally for what lay ahead. The detective presented photos and recordings confirming Lucas's affair with Anna. The evidence was compelling. Clara knew she could secure a favorable divorce with these documents. Seeing the proof, she felt a mix of relief and sorrow. While she was prepared for the truth, it was still hard to accept. Finally, Clara decided to confront Lucas. She chose a quiet evening, knowing they would have enough time to talk without interruptions. "Lucas, we need to talk," she said, her voice surprisingly firm. Lucas noticed the seriousness in her tone and sat down, waiting. "I know about you and Anna," Clara began. Lucas paled but tried to deny it. "I don't know what you're talking about," he replied nervously. Clara remained calm, placing the evidence on the table. "I have pictures, recordings, and testimonies. Lucas, don't lie." Lucas sat in silence, staring at the evidence before him. He knew denying the truth was impossible. Finally, he said, "Clara, I'm sorry, I know I messed up, but I never wanted to hurt you." Clara felt his words were empty. She had heard too many excuses and knew there was no way to fix what was broken. "Lucas, this isn't just about the affair. It's about years of lies, distance, and disrespect. Our marriage is over," Clara stated. Lucas tried to argue, but Clara was determined. "I'm filing for divorce. While I hope it can be as amicable as possible, I'm committed to moving on." Lucas was stunned by Clara's decision to divorce, but he had to accept it. The following weeks were filled with discussions about the divorce terms and how to divide their assets. Clara, now with more clarity and determination, faced each obstacle with courage. Lucas felt the gravity of the situation and tried to preserve his dignity. In one last attempt at redemption, he said, "Clara, I want you to know that despite everything, I always respected you." Although hurt, Clara knew she needed to move on. "Lucas, respect isn't enough. A successful marriage requires more." Clara's decision to divorce was a significant step in her journey of self-discovery. She was ready to face any obstacle, knowing the road ahead would be tough. Clara was determined to rebuild her life, find joy, and rediscover her true self. Her knowledge of the affair and decision to move on marked the beginning of a new chapter in her life. Clara and Lucas's separation led to several legal battles over dividing their assets, including the house and the company inherited from Mr. Silva. Clara was determined to protect her interests and ensure she received what she deserved. She was ready to overcome any difficulty, knowing the process would be challenging. Finding a good divorce lawyer was the first step. Clara sought Sophia's advice, who recommended a renowned lawyer. "Clara, he's the best in the area. He'll ensure you get what you deserve," Sophia said, offering her unconditional support. Clara's meeting with the lawyer was enlightening. He was insightful and compassionate, listening attentively to her story. "We'll make sure you get everything you're entitled to, Clara. Don't worry," he reassured her. Clara began preparing the divorce documents with the lawyer's help. On the other hand, Lucas hired an equally competent lawyer. He was determined to protect his interests, knowing the battle would be tough. Dividing their assets, especially the house and business, was a delicate matter. Both sought to secure as much as possible. The initial hearings were tumultuous. Clara and Lucas were now rivals. The discussions about asset division were heated and often emotional. Clara felt exhausted but firmly resolved not to give in. "This house is mine. It's where I grew up, and I'm not giving it up," she declared with determination. Clara's lawyer strengthened her position with evidence of the affair. Lucas, on the other hand, was unwilling to yield. He argued that he had made significant contributions to the business and deserved a fair share. Negotiations were long and difficult, but Clara remained steadfast. During this time, Clara found support in Sophia and other friends who had gone through similar situations. They offered advice, emotional support, and reminded Clara that she was not alone. "Clara, you're strong. You'll get through this," Sophia, always ready to help, said. The legal battle brought up painful memories and moments of introspection. Clara wondered where everything had gone wrong as she reminisced about the good times with Lucas. The sad reality of the divorce starkly contrasted with the memories of their early years of marriage, filled with love and dreams. After months of discussions and hearings, a settlement was finally reached. Lucas would receive financial compensation, while Clara would keep the house and a significant portion of the business. Although the agreement wasn't ideal, Clara felt relieved knowing she could move on with her life. Signing the divorce papers was an emotional moment. Clara felt a mix of relief and sadness. It's the end of a chapter, but also the beginning of a new one, she thought. Lucas reluctantly accepted the situation. In an unusually sincere moment, he said, "I hope you find happiness, Clara." With the divorce finalized, Clara focused on rebuilding her life. Moving to an apartment near Sophia helped her better adapt to her new routine. While she knew the road ahead would be challenging, Clara was confident she could overcome any obstacle. Despite the emotional and legal difficulties of the divorce, Clara emerged stronger. She rediscovered her inner strength and was determined to start a new life. Clara was ready to face the future with courage and hope, thanks to the support of friends and her determination to move forward. Clara was ready to start a new chapter in her life after the tumultuous divorce process. She knew that finding new opportunities and restoring her personal and professional life were necessary to keep moving forward. In a moment of change, she received unexpected news that her grandmother, Consuelo, had left her a significant inheritance. Consuelo had secretly maintained a prosperous business, which was part of the inheritance. Clara was shocked to learn that her grandmother, known for being simple and humble, was actually a shrewd businesswoman. Clara was the principal heir to Consuelo's business empire. Clara was introduced to Santiago, a business partner of her grandmother, besides the inheritance. Santiago, a middle-aged man in a wheelchair, had helped Consuelo manage the business in recent years. After Consuelo's death, he continued to run the company, known for being reliable and competent. Clara decided to meet Santiago to get more information about the business that was now partly hers. Their meetings took place in a small office downtown. Santiago, a calm man with a gentle smile, welcomed Clara warmly. "Your grandmother was a wonderful person. I'm sure she'd be proud of what you'll do with the business," he said. They discussed the company's current situation and future prospects. Santiago explained that the company operated in the medical field, providing services and equipment to hospitals and clinics. Clara saw the potential to improve services and medical care quality with her medical expertise. Clara and Santiago teamed up to explore new business opportunities. From the beginning, their partnership yielded positive results. Santiago brought his management and operational expertise, while Clara contributed her medical experience. Working together, they discovered ways to make services more accessible and efficient. Additionally, the collaboration gave Clara new motivation. Working with Santiago and seeing the positive results of their efforts gave her a fresh perspective on her career and personal life. Clara found Santiago to be a trusted friend and a valuable ally. Clara and Santiago developed a strong friendship over time. They spent hours discussing business plans, sharing personal stories, and envisioning the future. The trust between them grew daily, and Clara felt grateful to have found someone so loyal and dedicated. Together, Clara and Santiago helped the business grow. They expanded services, opened new branches, and formed partnerships with other medical organizations. Clara felt proud of what they were building together, and the company thrived. However, the partnership faced some challenges. Due to his condition, Santiago had physical limitations, and Clara often worried about his health. She advised him to undergo a new medical evaluation to explore potential treatments. After much insistence from Clara, Santiago, initially reluctant, finally agreed. The tests revealed that Santiago had a good chance of regaining his mobility after undergoing surgery. The news brought both hope and apprehension. Throughout the process, Clara supported Santiago, ensuring he received the best possible medical care. The surgery was successful, and Santiago gradually began to regain his mobility. Both were emotional as Santiago recovered. Clara realized that Santiago had become more than just a business partner to her. They grew closer, and Clara began to see Santiago differently. As Santiago regained his strength, Clara reflected on the changes in her life. She had overcome the pain of the divorce and found a new purpose in her career. Additionally, she had developed a strong friendship with Santiago. Their collaboration was more than just a business venture. It was an example of resilience, trust, and renewal. Clara felt prepared for any challenge with Santiago by her side. They were ready to build something meaningful and shape the future together. Clara's journey had been marked by setbacks and hardships, but also by discoveries and new beginnings. She was confident that with Santiago, she could overcome any obstacle and find the joy she longed for. Clara's life transformed completely with Santiago's recovery. After the surgery, Santiago began to move slowly. Seeing Santiago take his first steps was an emotionally impactful experience for Clara. It was as if a new hope had emerged for both of them. Clara was by his side, supporting him through every moment of his recovery. She provided emotional and moral support during his physical therapy sessions. Santiago, in turn, showed immense determination to regain his mobility. Each small advance was celebrated as a significant victory. Santiago's relationship with Clara deepened as he recovered. The solid friendship they had built over months of working together now transformed into something more. Clara began to see Santiago not just as a friend and business partner, but also as someone with whom she could envision a future. Santiago felt an increasing attraction to Clara. He was impressed by her strength, compassion, and determination. However, he was still concerned about his physical condition. Despite his improvement, Santiago feared Clara deserved someone who could offer her more than he thought he could. During a particularly tough day of physical therapy, Santiago shared his fears with Clara. "Clara, I'm not sure I'll ever be the man you deserve. There are still many uncertainties even after my recovery," he said, looking somber. "Santiago, what matters to me is who you are, not what you can or cannot do physically," Clara said, holding his hand. "What truly matters is that you're an extraordinary person." Santiago was deeply moved by her words. He realized that Clara's feelings for him were genuine and not superficial. This gave him the courage to keep fighting for his recovery, and more importantly, to accept Clara's love. Over time, Santiago began walking with the help of crutches. Each step demonstrated Clara's unconditional support and his determination. Although he hadn't fully recovered, the progress was remarkable and encouraging. During this period, Clara and Santiago began spending more time together outside of work. They had dinners together, watched movies, and talked for hours about life, their dreams, and their future. More than ever, Clara felt complete and happy. After the divorce, Santiago had brought a new light into her life, something she thought she had lost forever. As Santiago's physical recovery progressed, Clara and Santiago started discussing the future of the business and how they could improve their services. Inspired by Santiago's experience, they decided to open a new clinic specializing in rehabilitation. The goal was to provide high-quality treatment at affordable prices to individuals with conditions similar to his. The new clinic was an instant success. Clara and Santiago worked hard to ensure all patients received the best possible care. The clinic quickly became a reference in rehabilitation due to the community's very positive response. Clara and Santiago's professional collaboration was now stronger than ever. They had built something meaningful together, overcoming various obstacles. Santiago's transformation was not just a physical recovery, but also an emotional and spiritual one. Clara's journey with Santiago was a rediscovery of her strength and capacity to love. She knew there would always be challenges in life, but with Santiago, she was confident they could overcome anything together. Their story showed that love, hope, and a new purpose could be found even in the most challenging moments. Clara's life was finally returning to normal. Her career was thriving, her relationship with Santiago was stronger than ever, and his recovery was progressing rapidly. But life had more surprises for her. During a quiet afternoon at the office, Clara received an unexpected call from her longtime friend, Sophia. "Clara, we need to talk. There's something you need to know," Sophia said seriously. Although Clara was worried, she agreed to meet Sophia that night. Sophia appeared nervous when they arrived at the cafe where they had agreed to meet. Clara tried to stay calm and asked, "What happened, Sophia?" Sophia hesitated before speaking. "Clara, I found out that Lucas is seeing someone we know. Camilla, your old friend, is involved with him," she revealed. Clara was stunned. Camilla was someone she trusted and considered a close friend. Once again, she felt betrayed by Lucas and Camilla. Clara was deeply shaken by the news. This new betrayal seemed to threaten all her progress, but she chose not to let this revelation break her. "Thank you, Sophia," Clara said, trying to remain composed. "I need to process this." Back at work, Clara focused on her tasks to distract herself. Santiago noticed something was wrong and asked what had happened. Initially hesitant, Clara eventually confided in him about Camilla and Lucas's betrayal. Santiago offered unconditional support, listening attentively. "Clara, you're a strong woman. You've overcome so much already. This is just another obstacle you'll conquer," Santiago said, holding her hand. Clara found unexpected comfort in Santiago's words. She knew she could trust him, and together they could overcome any challenge. While dealing with the betrayal, a new opportunity arose. Clara discovered that Lucas and Camilla had ended their relationship. Their affair couldn't withstand the pressure and consequences of their actions. Camilla had moved on, seemingly without remorse, while Lucas was now alone and facing financial problems. Clara decided to move on once and for all. She and Santiago began planning how to expand their business. They decided to open a new clinic in a neighboring town to extend their health care and rehabilitation services to more people. The new clinic would be built in honor of Clara's grandmother, Consuelo, whose legacy continued to inspire Clara. As the plans for the new clinic progressed, Clara and Santiago started discussing their future together. Santiago felt more confident and happy now that he was almost fully recovered. He knew he wanted to spend the rest of his life with Clara. "I can't imagine my life without you, Clara. Will you marry me?" he asked with a hopeful smile. Clara accepted the proposal with enthusiasm. She felt safe and loved with Santiago. They began planning their wedding, wanting a simple yet meaningful ceremony. They decided to open the new clinic the same week as their wedding to celebrate their union and professional success. But Clara's life took another unexpected turn. Lucas's mistress, Valentina, had given birth to twins and left them at the hospital. Clara discovered this while visiting the clinic where she worked. An inexplicable urge drove her to help these children. She decided she would adopt them and give them a loving home. Santiago supported Clara in her decision. "These children are a blessing. We'll raise them together and give them all the love they deserve," he said. Clara and Santiago felt a new joy as they prepared for the adoption. They were ready to build a family and face the future with love and hope. Clara and Santiago's wedding and the opening of the new clinic were moments of celebration and renewal. Clara felt she had finally found the peace and joy she had longed for. She was ready to face any challenge and build a bright and loving future with Santiago and their daughters. Clara and Santiago's lives were rapidly changing. They were ready to start a new chapter in their relationship. The new clinic's opening was a great success. The local community welcomed the facility with enthusiasm, and the number of patients increased daily. Clara felt fulfilled professionally, but her greatest joy was building a family with Santiago. Clara and Santiago's wedding was a humble and private ceremony attended by close friends and family. It was held in a beautiful garden with soft lights and vibrant flowers. Clara wore an elegant white dress, and Santiago beamed with happiness. The ceremony was filled with joy, heartfelt vows, and tears. After their wedding, Clara and Santiago focused on building a happy home for their adopted daughters. Isabel and Clara quickly adapted to their new life. Although still in recovery, Santiago continued to care for the children. He enjoyed spending time with the girls, reading stories, playing games, and helping Clara with daily tasks. Valentina, the biological mother of the twins, became an important part of their lives. Initially reluctant to let her get close, Clara saw Valentina's dedication and care for the girls. Valentina proved herself to be a redeemed presence, earning Clara and Santiago's trust. Over time, a friendship based on respect and trust developed between Valentina and Clara. Clara's new routine was challenging, but immensely rewarding. She balanced her time between family and the clinic, ensuring everyone received the attention and care they needed. Santiago continued his rehabilitation, and with Clara's help, made significant progress. He was more confident than ever, now able to walk without crutches. The clinic's success continued to grow, and Clara and Santiago began considering new areas for expansion. They decided to open more units in other cities to bring their excellent healthcare services to underserved communities. The positive impact they were making in people's lives continually motivated them. Clara's life was filled with love, joy, and challenges. Although she knew there would still be difficulties, she felt prepared for anything with Santiago by her side. They had built a strong partnership based on love, respect, and mutual support. Clara felt blessed to have found such a loyal and caring companion. Besides work and family, Clara found time to pursue her personal interests. She resumed practicing yoga and meditation, finding that maintaining emotional and physical balance helped her. Clara also engaged in community initiatives, organizing fundraisers and health awareness campaigns. Santiago discovered new passions. He found he had a talent for painting and dedicated part of his free time to this hobby. Clara encouraged his creative expression, proud of the beautiful artwork Santiago created. Clara's relationship with Sofia also grew stronger. They spent time together, sharing confidences and offering each other support. Clara felt grateful to have such a loyal and supportive friend, and Sofia admired Clara's strength and resilience. The new chapter in Clara and Santiago's lives was marked by growth, love, and success. They had overcome many challenges, but each one brought them closer together. Clara knew life was unpredictable, and that there would still be difficult moments, but she was confident that with Santiago, she could overcome anything. Clara's story is a testament to human strength and the ability to overcome obstacles. She showed that hope, love, and new purpose could be found even in the darkest times. Clara was ready to face the future with optimism and determination, as she had a loving family, a successful career, and loyal friends. Clara and Santiago would continue building their lives together, full of dreams and possibilities. They knew that together they could achieve anything, even though their journey was just beginning. The new chapter in Clara's life represented renewal and hope, proving that the sun always shines again after the greatest storms.